All right, we are getting ready to start our Flinn ABO Blood Lab. If you are looking at the PDF and going down to the instructions, you can see that we have 4 slide wells here. One's upside down. And we have our blood types. Our blood types are labeled with our letters. They also have names because they double for a biology lab. So we're ignoring the names. We're going by our letters. My group in class is doing it as well, so they may have some questions as we go. We also have our anti-Sera with anti-A, anti-B, and anti-RH. So we have our blood types that are going to have our red blood cells with the types of antigens we're testing to see what antigens that they have inside them. And then our anti-Sera are like the antibodies that would be found in the plasma. So as we add the anti-A, we are looking to see, does it clot or clump? And if so, that tells us there's the presence of the A antigen. Same with B and RH. All right? So, first thing it asks us to do is to label our 4 blood slide wells as W, X, Y, and Z. Okay. And then the instructions do say to place 3 to 4 drops. We are going to modify that as 1 to 2 drops because if we use 3 to 4, it will actually overflow. That's a little bit too much for these plates. So I did forget toothpicks. Give me just a second. All right. Now we've got our toothpicks. So it says place our drops of blood into the slide. So we're going to do 1 to 2 drops in each of these. Okay. And then, okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you this. I don't know how well you can see it. They are labeled with an A, B, and an RH. So that's how we know what we're going to put in each one and what we're testing for. All right. So we are going to start by putting our anti-A in the A well. Two drops, just like we put 2 in there. Clump or no clump? Oh. Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to put anti-B in B. And we're going to put anti-RH in RH. And now we're going to mix. I probably should have mixed right after I put them in, but we need a different toothpick for each one. Okay, so I'm going to mix and not scrape. And stir, stir, stir. Now I'm going to flip it so I don't cross-contaminate. And use the other side for B. Stir, stir, stir. If it clumps, then it's still because it has the antigens. And then I need a new toothpick for RH. Oh. All right. So I know it looks not so great on your screen. All right. So as we look at these, if we could check. If I could have everyone's attention, I want to show you some differences. Okay. When we look at our slide plates, a good way to check. Oh, look at this. All right. So this is a good example of all of our different types of clumping. So as I take my slide and move it back and forth, in my A, you can clearly see chunks, okay? So A has definitely clotted. So on your data table, you would put clump, clot, or if you're feeling fancy, you can use the big word, it agglutinates, right? Remember agglutination? Okay. Type B, as I move it back and forth, I can see it much better off camera, but there are smaller little clumps. There are little dots in there. So it is not clear. It is not smooth. It is not something that I would want flowing through my veins, so that has also clotted. The RH, if I find my right toothpick, is a different type of clot. See if I can, I've come out of focus, hang on. How do we do that? Get that. The RH, as you move it, is actually quite thick. So that's a different type of clot. It's physically goopy. Right? That's kind of actually more accurate representation. Okay, so RH has clumped as well. So A has clumped, B has clumped, and RH has clumped for letter W, which means with it clumping, it has the presence of that antigen. So it has A antigen, it has the B antigen, and it has the RH antigen. So this blood type would be A, B, positive. If it has RH, it is positive. If it does not have RH, it would be negative. So I'm going to let you guys figure out the other blood types, but that's our example. If it has A, if it clumps, it has A. If it clumps, it has B. And if it clumps, it has RH there. All right? So we're going to move on to letter X. Anti-A. B. Anti-RH. A-ester. B-ester. Hasn't been used. RH.
So what's
So if it clumps, it has it. So which one are you?
Clumps has Z. So it has compound B and compound RH.
So it has B, so it's type B,
Type B.
and it has RH, so it'd be positive. Be positive. Yeah. Be positive. Yep. All right. So we have now completed X. See if we can get that to focus. X. I don't know if I can take my hand away. As you see, these, none of them clumped. It's very homogeneous, which means it's the same throughout. Very liquidy, no clumps. Try not to spill it, but show you. This is no clump for A, no clump for B, and no clump for RH. So it has not agglutinated for any of them. So there is no presence of A, no presence of B. Okay? If it doesn't have A and it doesn't have B, it's going to be the recessive. Think about what the recessive blood type is. And it doesn't have RH, so that means it's going to be negative. All right, moving on to Y. Anti-A. Anti-B. All right. All right. What you should see is there's clumps in A, no clumps in B, that is clear, okay, and no clumps in RH. So for letter Y, A clumps, B no clump, RH no clump. Okay. Last but not least, letter Z.
Wait, no, that'd be KG. Because KG is universal.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I like your green one.
All right, I saved my toothpick here because I wanted to take some time and go back. This one took a little bit, but it is thick, thick, thick like Jello. So RH is definitely clotted there. Okay. And as I take my A and B, move them back and forth. Okay. B has its little dots. I don't know how to focus my camera, sorry. All right, so B has little chunks there. You can see those. A does not. A is clear and homogeneous. There's no clotting. So for letter Z, A is no clump, B is clump, RH is clump. All right, so that is our full lab. Hopefully we're not too out of focus here. And a recap in case you missed anything is for letter W, A clots, B clots, RH clots. For letter X, A no clot, B no clot, RH no clot. Letter Y, A clots, B no clot, RH no clot, and letter Z, A is no clot, B clots, RH clots. So B clots, RH clots. All right. So that's the lab. Go ahead and fill in your blood types for that data table and then answer those questions.
I'm talking about the goalie, Kyle.